You have a language, correct? What's the name of it?
The Great Igbo language, Igbo.
Okay. And it has no letters until the white boy gave you some, right?
That's a lie.
Why does your ass have the Latin alphabet then? You didn't create the Latin alphabet, fool.
Before that, our ancestors have a way.
Before that, you had what?
Oh, Lord. Am I going to be allowed to speak, or are you going to gag me so that you can continue with your speech?
I'm going to cut you.
You're talking about an Igbo man. An Igbo man is...
Douchebag. Before the Latin alphabet, you had... Oh, I made his hand turn white. I am really vicious. I didn't mean to mess you up and give you some kind of skin disorder. Check it out. Oh, you went back to black. Cool. Check this out. What letters did you have prior to the white boy taking that Latin alphabet and shoving it up your butt?
The Igbo letter.
Which is what?
I'm listening.
Which is what you cannot comprehend now.
Oh,
this
Lord.
Is why you are a liar. Now, see, let me say it how you're supposed to say it. You're right. We didn't have letters. We were just chattering like little monkeys to each other, and somebody came along and told us how to write this down. That's how you say it. You don't lie. You guys always have to add some lies onto stuff. Okay.
So hold on. Let me gain a clear understanding, because I've been patiently keeping my mouth shut to hear what the gentleman got to say. You said, if I understand you correctly, that we don't comprehend Igbo letters. Is that correct? Hello?
100.
You don't have any.
Can you look in the Jumbotron and tell me what's incomprehensible about A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Sir, you have no letters. You have our letters.
What you mean, your letters? Do you have a language? What are you talking about?
Yeah, we do. We're speaking it now, like you.
What language is that?
You're copying off of the one we've been speaking for half a millennia.
Are you an Englishman?
Yeah, I'm mixed with English. Yes, I am mixed with English.
And on top of that, we have another.
That's why our names are English.
You never told me you're from Britain, because the only English person
Shut up.
come from Britain.
That language, that is the language of money. On top of that, we developed another language called Tutnese, which had an alphabet. We weren't just chattering to each other. We actually could write things down. Now, you cannot produce a book from Igbo pre-colonial. Produce
that's a lie. That's a lie. We have a lot of that.
Produce one then, because I want to see what I mean, if it's in symbols, I'm willing to look at the symbols. Where's the book in your Igbo symbols?
That is why I say you cannot comprehend it. It's like giving you an Arabic book.
I don't need to. Somebody can give me.
You keep muting me. You keep muting me.
You keep lying, and I can't take all those lies at one time. I'm asking you. Someone can give me a book in Italian. I don't have to know how to speak Italian to know that I'm reading a book with Italian words in it. So you give me your Igbo book, and I want to see the symbols, because I do expect somebody to produce some script or some writing or something with some native African letters on it, or some symbols, or at least something. Because at this point, Egypt is the only African region to have symbols and letters and an ability to write things down. Do you know how important that is, to be able to chronicle your history? That's what makes you a great nation or country or region.
Facts.
That's the difference between you guys and China, you guys and Egypt, you guys and everybody. Instead of putting your thumb down, throwing a conniption like all you emotional African men do, I swear to God, what is up with you guys?
Wani, I'm so glad he came to the stage, because he can't defend the fact that his language, Igbo, doesn't have its own original characters. Now, what I'm also grateful for is what we saw was some type of perceived jealousy. Foundational Black Americans are not ashamed of any part of our lineage. I'm proud of every part of my lineage because I'm a new delineated group. I'm a new ethnic group. And yes, a lot of us are mixed with English heritage. Am I an Englishman? Hell no. I'm a foundational Black American, but I'm not ashamed of it. But what I heard in his voice, and y'all check me on this if I'm wrong, I heard some jealousy. That's what I heard.
Jealousy?
Yeah.
Come on now. Because you part English?
You are jealous.
Oh, you're so happy to be European?
What language are you speaking, sir? What language are you speaking?
So because you have European, then you will also jealous?
Hold on. If you're so anti-European, why are you speaking English, sir? Why are you speaking English?
So the African is jealous of you because
I asked you a question, sir. Don't talk over me. I won't tolerate that. I asked you a question. If your people are so anti-colonizer, why are you speaking English, sir?
We learn the language so we can communicate with other people.
Why? So you could sell each other?
What do you mean sell each other? The Russians learn how to speak English too. The Chinese are learning English.
Major slave ports.
The Americans are learning Chinese. I mean, what are you trying to say? The Chinese are learning English.
I'm not trying to say anything.
The Americans are learning Chinese so that they can communicate. So what's the difference with learning how to speak English? What's the point?
Well, we're learning how to communicate with the Chinese for exactly what I said, for commerce. A lot of items are being sold between China and the United States. Namely, let's look at it. We're talking on iPhones. Sir, are you aware that iPhones are made in China? We need to know Chinese in order to sell these iPhones, the world's premier cell phone. You learned English not to sell an iPhone. You learned English to sell each other.
So why are Americans learning Latin? Why are they learning Spanish? Why are Americans learning Spanish? What do they want to sell to Mexicans?
They want to get jobs where you need to be bilingual mostly.
Oh, okay. You're learning Spanish. Okay. So we're learning English too, so that we can do the same thing as well.
It's still commerce driven, sir. It's still commerce driven.
Same here.
But you're speaking in our language and trying to distance.
In your language? Do you know how dumb you sound?
No, it isn't.
I hope an Englishman don't hear you saying that.
Okay, dumbass.
He's gonna laugh at you.
Well, let me say something about English. Black Americans have been speaking English for half a millennia, number one. Number two, we've been speaking English longer than all of these Ellis Island immigrants coming over here that spoke Italian and Polish and all the rest of it. Number two, white people, you don't really understand where the alphabet from English came from. It's not from one source. So if you go and look up English alphabets and English language, it's a hodgepodge. So it's not really owned by any group. Yes, it's associated with people in England, so to speak, but it's kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of letters, and a lot of them are not from European nations. But anyway, like I said, we developed Tutnese, which also had the ability to be written down. So if we want to now speak English because it's more universally spoken and it's more popular and it's spoken all over the world, I don't see why you, Mr. Whatever you are, gets to criticize that while speaking English. That's the part about the African brain. I don't understand how it works. It's right. The immigrants in general, just squatting in another person's country, waving their flag and talking about how the people there are stupid while you're sitting there in the same country and telling them that they're stupid and that we need to go back to Nigeria or we need to go somewhere, but you're not in those places. So we have to look and listen to a lot of nonsensical things. Yes, it's my language. Black Americans are a quarter English.
Right.
Okay? That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Lord.
And the Polish people are zero English. All of those Ellis Islanders, they don't have any relationship to the colonies. They're foreigners. We're not foreigners. We're a product of all the things that were going on over here. Are we going to run around and claim it? No, I'm going to deny that I have any admixture. I'm going out in flames. I'm not associated with them, but it is a fact. And if, like I said, if we're from America and English is spoken in America, of course we're going to speak that. We're not going to speak Tutnese, just like you're not going to speak Igbo and sound like a chattering gorilla. You're not going to do that because nobody's going to know what you're talking about in the real world.
Right. And Dr. Claude Anderson brings up that, according to Dr. Claude Anderson, his sense of community was divisively based upon tribal origins rather than a commonality of skin color and racial destiny. Dr. Anderson says tribal and extended family commitments rarely extended beyond the village compound. Y'all couldn't understand each other in the next village, sir. So you coming in here speaking Igbo?
That's a lie, Professor. That's a lie.
Well,
no, it's
that's
not
a lie.
You spoke
that's a lie.
Languages that were not
Stop
connected.
muting me. You muted me and lying to these people. Stop it.
Lying.
I'm an Igbo man. You're saying what is not true. Stop lying to these people.
So
you muting me and lying to these people. Stop it.
Okay, let me stop muting you and stop lying to these people. You tell us who's next to you in Africa that you could speak with no issues.
Crickets. He's Googling somebody.
Nah, I was muted. I couldn't talk.
Okay, good.
You guys are I think you guys are just trying to spread a particular message, and I'm getting in.
Can you
now I muted you. I just muted you just now.
Can you stop babbling? Because that's one of the problems that your brain has. It's talking too much. Tell us the information we're asking. You made a statement. Now tell us who. Who in Africa are you next to as an Igbo man that you can speak to with no issues? And you can sell them your baskets and whatnot.
Name a tribe.
So I can say the same for the Europeans too. I can tell the Russian
Name a tribe.
Can the Russian talk to the French in what language?
Check this out.
Name a tribe, please.
It's low IQ.
I'm about to get ignorant.
The Russians, how do they communicate to the French?
Sir, that's not secular.
What?
Are you expecting Africans to have one language? Do the Europeans have one language?
Who said it?
Do the Europeans?
His brain is scrambled. That 0 to you're not gonna talk over me. That's 0 to 5.
You keep muting and lying to the people.
I'm gonna keep muting you as long as you keep talking over me. What I was saying is that 0 to 5 storytelling bullshit got him confused. You see his logical framework for thought. It's not sequitur. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's not sequitur. It's going all over the place. He talking about Russians and French.
He's the one who said it. He said that the tribes near him can understand each other. And then I said, which tribe near you as an Igbo man can you communicate with and understand? I'm not going to say that that's not possible. I don't live over there. I don't know what they can understand. Some, Mexicans say that they can understand what Italians are saying, but some people say, no, we can't. I don't know because I don't speak both of those languages. So I'm asking him when he's babbling in his no alphabet language that they just came up with, who can you talk to with ease nearby to sell your weaving baskets and your carved mask to?
Okay, I think you all are just being disrespectful and just want to say bullshit to each other.
I think you haven't answered the question, sir.
I think I'm out. You just say nonsense and lying to these people. I'm out.
I think you haven't answered the question, and I think you are a
I detect no lies.
Tether is what I think you are.
So I dropped some basic Igbo phrases into the Jumbotron so that everybody can see their basic phrases. Like, hi, how are you? Do you speak Igbo? All of these are words structured using Latin letters, which means all of us who use Latin letters to create words could possibly phonetically, at a bare minimum, speak Igbo. So, for instance, when he's saying, oh, our letters are so advanced that you could not understand. Okay, fine. So let's go to Ndiwo. Hi, hello. Let's go to E. Umba, yes, no. Nasu Igbo. These are words that if I'm just using phonics, and Latin letters, putting those together, I could probably use some beyond 0 to 5 critical thinking and analysis to go up there and use basic Igbo words. No different than, again, Latin languages having certain connections, being able to speak Spanish, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. You go over to French, un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, quatre, cinq, seis, whatever. Certain things sound similar, but you also do phonics. But we're also doing something that requires higher than 0 to 5 critical thinking. So when he says, oh, but our language is so complicated you would not understand, what he's failing to realize is that we're not operating off of a 0 to 5 intellectual level. So just based off of what he said and what I found on the internet, I'm not saying that I'm fluent in Igbo, but I try my hand at it, because if you're telling me that all I have to say to someone is Ndiwu, Kidu, Dalu, they put words, they put letters to ooh. If you took those letters and just said it as it is, Dalu, ooh. Yes, Wani is absolutely right. You sound like a babbling monkey. But somebody at least gave you some letters so that somebody else, if they wanted to play the game along with you, they could.
Yeah, and another issue is that he's from a lineage and from an area that there's really no reason for him to be speaking English. Again, I'm not claiming to be a damn Englishman, and if anybody's been on my spaces long enough, you'll know I have my bone to pick with English culture. I think that they've been a big cancer in America, in the fabric of America. But the truth of the matter is, and this is a hard truth, that not all, but a lot of foundational Black Americans like myself have to face. We, on some level, English blood is running through my veins. I'm not claiming to be an Englishman. I'm Black. I'm foundational Black American. However, I'm saying that is justification for me to be speaking this language. This language, whether I like it or not. Let me say that again. Whether I like it or not, this language is a part of me. This same language ain't got shit to do with his lineage. This language is not a part of him. This language is a reflectivity that his people were too weak to fight them off. So they just said, oh, fuck it, I'm speaking English. And I think that's a hard pill for him to swallow, is that he didn't stand on to and say, I'm not speaking English, I'm speaking Igbo. He didn't do that. He learned English because he got his ass whooped. I learned English because whether I like it or not, it's a part of me. I think there's a difference in that. Let's see what Forrest got to say.
So I have a question for you, Professor. Why do Canada speak French?
Hold on. Why this coward went and changed his face? Did you think that's that 0 to 5 one, and he thought that was doing something? Do you think we can't hear you?
Can you answer my question? Forget about who's speaking.
No.
Can you answer my question?
I need a break from your lack of your intellectual disability or whatever's going on.
Are you scared to talk to me? Are you talking about intellectual? Come on.
You never answered the question. Which tribes next to you can speak the language?
I asked the question. You didn't answer my question, Mr. Intellectual.
So, never mind.
You know what? We're going to take a break from you. Indigo, what's on your mind?
I thought as much.
Sit your ass down for a minute. What's on your mind, Sister Indigo?
Yeah, this space, I haven't been on it in a while, and yeah, a lot of our stuff is just like inherited to us, it's not with you reading a book or anything like that. I remember my grandmother when she was still alive, and I was young, and I was so happy. I was like, I learned how to speak Swahili, and she was like, Swahili? And she said, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, we from Africa and this and that." And she's like, "I'm not from no Africa." She said, "Where you from Africa from?" And I was like, "Well, aren't we from Africa? We African and all that." And she was like, "We've been here, I said, "So, if we're," and she said, "I'm Cherokee Indian." And I was like, "Well, what is that language and what is that?" And she said, with, you know, older people back in the day, they was very short. It was like, what difference does it make? You don't need to learn this. Anything that's important, I'm going to teach you. You're not going to learn it from anybody outside. You know what I'm saying? So, this space tonight is just mind blowing. You got all these people talking about the Igbo and this and that and this and that. And it just reminded me, because I was a know it all growing up. I wanted to, so I was happy, when I learned Swahili. And it was in a church song. It was a guy that was dressed up in kente cloths, and it was Yo so chinta akagana, ye so yulidulia, like that, And my grandmother said, "Do you look like them people?" It's just, And she said, "You're Cherokee Indian, And then the town that, well, my grandmother, she moved from North Carolina to New York, and then she came back to Vandalia, Michigan, because my grandmother was sick. Well, my great grandmother was sick, and come to find out, it was a part of the Underground Railroad, which people, like I said before in this space, they don't acknowledge that, which is 2.5 miles away from Detroit, Michigan, which is 4 hours away to Canada. So that's where we ran. Well, not ran, but we went to as slaves. But it was a part of the Underground Railroad. And so I always felt powerful, part of that lineage. But I don't have no books. I don't have nobody to say, doctor, this or doctor that. I just have what my grandmother and my great grandmother told me. That's the scholarship that I have from them.
And that's if I may interrupt you, Sister Indigo, that's good enough. Well, I'm not going to tell what the research me and my students are doing, but basically we're working off of what you just said. Grandmama and granddaddy are primary, can be considered primary sources to cite for scholarship. So yeah, don't be intimidated by a damn book. Matter of fact, if you notice, the books I use are by foundational Black American scholars who have a link to the lineage. But go ahead and land your plane, Janez.
Yeah, I will real quick. I used to feel, like bad because of my skin complexion, and then I had wavy hair growing up, and it was just a lot, it was a lot, and I just wanted to learn where I had came from, because that part, when I was told to learn Swahili, I was from Africa and this and that, I was confused, and like I said, I was a know-it-all type person. I wanted to know why and where and how, and back then it was, this is what I say you are, and that's that, So when she said, "Well, I'm Cherokee," I didn't believe her, and they sent a lot of people over here to brainwash us not to believe we're our heritage. Like, my great grandmother was Gullah Geechee. She come from Janesboro, North Carolina. My father's side came from Janesville, North Carolina. They're like 100 and some miles from each other. Once I got older, I started teasing my mom. I said, I must be inbred, you know what I mean? As a child, because they so close and tuned, but they ended up having me, and I was in New York. They had me in New York, but that's where the money was back then. To be educated and to send money home to your family that were in the South. Excuse me.
What was the name of the place in North Carolina you're from?
North Carolina was Janesville for
Janesville.
Janesville, North Carolina. That was my father's side. They're Whitehursts. You can look them up. They was in slavery since like 1729 or some crap like that. But they Indians through and through. I think I even gave my grandmother's death certificate to Professor Allen because I have that. And then my mother's grandmother, she comes from Jamesboro. Let me look it up for it. It's right here.
No. While you look it up, I wanted to make a comment on the issue that the Nigerian gentleman brought up. First and foremost, Black Americans never let anybody shame you out of the language that you speak, because this is our language. We have a native language, Tutnese, and that's all good, but we have a direct tie-in to the land. We are part of this land, and the official language of this land that we are foundational in is English. This is our language. So, what I'm saying, it's a false equivalency equating him from Nigeria with us, because he has his own language. He's speaking English. His speaking of the language of English is a reflection of being conquered. Go ahead.
Before I land my plane, this is what the whole point. Fried green tomatoes. That was what I grew up on. And anybody from the South or whatever, okra and fried green tomatoes taste the same. So if you couldn't get okra, which came later in the South, you would get tomatoes first. And so that's where you get fried green tomatoes from. And I learned that from my grandparents and my great-grandparents. And if anybody tries to tell you any different, that the taste is almost the same, then they not from there. And they not from this land. Because sometimes you couldn't get.
Black students, we need to know our history.
The black history we're being taught in public schools is repetitive.
As a black high school student, I want to learn more about my history in the school books.
We need to update our books.
As Black American students, we deserve an accurate depiction of what Black history truly is.
I want to see myself in these textbooks.
In the public school system, Black history is vague.
Why don't the school books ever talk about the Freedmen's Bureau?
I created the workbook for the African American family. This book helps fill in the gaps that the school books don't. Purchase the workbook for the African American family on ourstorypublications.com and use the Cash App, $Our Story Publications.